welcome back to the show. 400 Years is a program that's helping individuals unlearning racism through the body, storytelling, as well as deep listening. This program provides the knowledge and understanding required to address how society locked bias and racism into our bodies and has been trained to turn a blind eye to the racial inequities. It offers a safe and supportive environment for participants to explore and reflect upon their own experience and beyond. Our next guest is the founder of the Emotional Institute, who's utilized decades of experience to help to dedicate, and to help develop, multi-sensory techniques that are actually helping people seek a fully embodied state of emotional living. Joining us to provide their point of view on the matter, I'm joined by the founder of the Emotional Institute and 400 Years, Bernadette Pleasant. And Bernadette, good to have you here.
Daren, such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And so for somebody who talks about how to unlock racism and inequity, I know that you're an expert at this one here. Share with us a little bit about how you make this happen.
Well, I think we first make this happen by being educated and knowing. And I think that there's a piece that I've noticed with regarding anti-racism and unlearning racism, that there's a lot of information that comes, but what I feel is necessary is this body digestion of it. And so that we can move forward and actually do something with the information we have. We're taking in all of who we are, the way we learned how to be racist, through the body, through the tightening, through the squeezing, through the that's not safe feeling, that unspoken word that gets locked into the body. And so, yeah, that's what I feel is needed, and that's what created 400 years.
Yeah. So when we look at racism as it is, we know that a lot of people said, hey, Barack Obama, the election of President Barack Obama ended a post-racial America. Well, I tell people right now, if that was your perspective, we are in a re-racial America. I don't think it ever left, but we see that it reared its ugly head. January 6th was, I can't even put it into words.
Woo!
I think you could probably do a better job. But talk to us about how do you unpack that, given the fact that January 6th became another setback, not just for our country, but, for us as a community.
I think, first of all, thank you so much for mentioning that, with the election of Barack Obama. Yes, fantastic. Great strides, how beautiful. Yes. And now what? That was a thing. There was a time when that could have never happened. So, major props to the fact that that happened. And what else what else is possible? The base is so low that, there isn't a one-off thing that's, we are done with this. We've addressed this problem. It has not gone anywhere. The needle hasn't moved, and I'm all for celebrating what happens. I want to acknowledge what's happened and what could not have happened at some time. However, what I'm looking for is some equality, and
Right.
that is not what happened. There is a large contingent of people who are pissed, who are indignant, and they are privileged, and therefore the January 6th events like that could happen. They were inspired to go and do that and to be found right. Uh, that could not happen for a group of people of color for many reasons. It would have looked very different. But I'm grateful for the 6th of January, because I think these public experiences of what lives and what we rub shoulders with, go to work with, just this people with those points of views, just that they're out there. And I'd much rather see them. I'd much rather see them, because I think that's where the growth comes from, not from when they're hidden. Yeah, take the sheets off. Let's see you, so that then let everybody see you. So now we then we start to get on some equal footing, as opposed to, we're making this up. This doesn't really exist. This is some construct that we have created.
Well, I think it definitely proves the fact that, yeah, when you look at January 6th, people have said this for a long time, the blatant racism that has gone on in this country, people have swept it under the rug.
Yes.
And it's even hard to watch right now, to watch people who act like that really didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
And yeah, and so let me go here and talk about this. When you have somebody that's a racist, then you have somebody that's, heavy on bias. How do you get to the place? Because you do it emotionally, right? How do you get to the place where we can unpack unlearning racism and unlearning bias?
When we are trying to unpack and unlearn, we have to look at where it began. We have to look at how did they get here, because otherwise we're trying to deal with the right now and not the seed where this began to develop. And so there's there are people who got the word. They were told this is right, this is wrong, these people aren't safe, or whatever. Wherever that fear that lived in the body, it was passed on generationally. uh, there are people who got the verbal um, indoctrination of this. There are also people who got it through the body, and the combination of the two. And I'll give you this example. We know what it's like when our parents, or those older than us, we know when they're comfortable in their bodies, when they're relaxed, when they're around people they feel safe with, or at home, and just what have you. And then when they're around others that they don't feel comfortable with, they may not say, I'm not comfortable around this person, but you notice their body language. You notice the tightening, if they're holding your hand, the squeeze, the way they draw you in close to them. That's the body um, experience of fear and distrust, of old stories learned. Whether it's true or not is another story. Is there anything a real threat to you? But that's a whole nother story. But that learning through the body, imagine, I think of women who are pregnant, and who, when they squeeze and tighten, just because they're feeling fear or distrust in their body, that is transmuted into the DNA of the child they are carrying. So this awareness of I'm not safe here, this isn't okay, people who don't look like this, my body isn't safe around them, that is, it is deep seated. Taking a look at it and saying, where did you learn this? Is it true? What's happening in your body right now? And just acknowledging it. Are you safe? Can you have a conversation? Have you ever had a conversation with those you are afraid of? How about we come to the table and have this conversation? Because that's what I'm interested in doing. I have to cohabitate with these folks, and my grandkids have to cohabitate with these folks, and I would like for it to get better. And I think that comes from acknowledging what is happening in our bodies. I don't need more statistics. I know how horrid the past is, and the current um, state of affairs. What I want to do is take notice and say, hey, what's going on?
So share with me a little bit about the Institute and the work it does to emotionally unpack, because um, for those who've experienced racism, are victims of racism, and then those who want to really unpack racism, maybe it's your history, right? To do that is a deep emotional dive, but this is your specialty, right?
It is a deep emotional dive, and it takes a lot of courage. It takes a ton of courage. I'm trying not to use four-letter words here, but it takes that much courage.
Yeah.
um, F ton of courage, and to go into the places and look at how am I feeling, to talk about and acknowledge the disgust that is felt in the body, the the righteous indignation that people of color have. And most of my clients that are coming to 400, I mean, I do get people of color, but for the most part, these are white folks trying to unlearn, and they want to go someplace safe. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. What I want them to do is come, bring their fears, notice what's happening here in the body, Let's talk about it. Let's have real storytelling conversations. I know it's uncomfortable. Stay right there. We're going to be uncomfortable together because I've been uncomfortable for a long time, and so have
Hmm.
my people. And so, what I'm going to do is create a container where I want to digest this. I want to talk about this. And then I'm going to task you to go and do something with the information that you have learned. That is, have, but stay with this. Keep coming to the table. That's what we do. We do this thing called, we're inviting them to the table. I entertain a lot in my house, or used to, post COVID, pre-COVID, and I love that feeling of coming to the table. But I, more than that, I love welcoming people. And I know that comes from my people. It's what we do. I
Hmm.
love welcoming people. Feel safe, get comfortable here, relax, relax. You're
Right.
welcome. And that's my invitation to people, to let's keep coming to the table. And we use the example of setting the table. Every meal ain't for you. Every dish you might not love. There might be times when you need to push away and stretch. Notice what's happening in your body. Are you able to digest what we're talking about right now? Pay attention to what's happening, because I need your mind to be here. I need your spirit to be here, so that more can come in, so that change could be made. And I know for people to feel change, they can't feel shamed, they can't feel judged, they have to feel safe. It is not my job to create a safe container for white folks to come to. It, we work this table where we're both creating this safe container so that we both can be here and do work through
So,
that.
talk to me about the reception that you get. Particularly, you brought up that a lot of your clients are white. So, how does that feel for them? Of course, you mentioned being uncomfortable, but talk about their stick to itiveness. Is there a stick to itiveness to actually stick through this process? Because it is navigating through a whole lot of stuff, and I'm sure there's some guilt, resentment, anger, just to name a few, and probably you can give me some more adjectives to go along with that as well.
Guilt, resent, anger, and that was just the black folks. Like, so my folks. So one of the things that I am very much aware of is, it is uncomfortable talking about this, and it's a give and take. It's an awareness of what's happening here for the team that's providing this, and just many of my programs I do alone. When this came to me, and I have to admit, this came to me right after, a few weeks after George Floyd's murder, when
Mm.
I was getting calls from people and clients. They're like, hey, wait, I don't know what to do and I want to help. And I'm thinking, you can't help me right now. You can't help me in that state of I want to do something right now, because they wanted to find a solution instantly. And I knew, that's, first of all, there are no instant solutions. We didn't get to that 8 minute and 46 seconds in an instant. It was slow, that something like that could happen so casually. And there was far more going on, sadly, um, uh, that brought things to a boil at that point. But what it did was it opened up these minds, and folks were like, "What can I do?" And I thought, well, first of all, let's try to calm that tightening that happens in the body, that jump in and fight. Let's all just breathe for a moment, and look at what you're feeling. Are you jumping in to try to fix something because you are feeling anger, or that you're feeling like you've been misled, that you're feeling guilty because you did not know, or somehow found yourself implicit in and wanted to do something about this racism that you now can't unsee. That's great. I'm glad to have the start, however the hell it got here. Now, what do we do, and how do that thing that happens with people who are privileged, where they have they can turn away and go where it's more comfortable. What I need to do is keep those eyes focused, keep you right here, which is why it's done slowly. It's a, I mean, 400 is a 4-month course. It meets twice a month. But in addition to that, there is a book club. We are reading My Grandmother's Hands by Resma Manikin. And we are doing exercises, movement. There are drums in there where we are literally moving the body, acknowledging the discomfort that's there and how do we stay. The gas pedal is, we're keeping the pressure on and acknowledging how uncomfortable this is, but stay with it. And I think as a community effort, um, we thought about, things like the book club that we have embedded in the program, the meditation that's a weekly meditations that we have that are embedded in the program, the movement that is embedded in the program. These things are done in community because I think when people go to their private quarters and deal with this, uh, we don't get to heal. Healing happens by being witnessed. So, in addition to showing up, I'm asking them to come and do more and do more and do more.
Before we get out of here, please tell people if they want to be a part of if they want to be a part of this institute, want to learn, want to unpack, want to do, who's welcome and how they get connected.
All are welcome. All are welcome. And they go to the emotionalinstitute.com. And yeah, our next 400, we have other courses that are about emotional expression and healing at our website. But in addition to that, the 400 course kicks off March 18th. And I'm looking forward to another 4-month run with my team and unlearning this and growing, because we heal as we offer this, and it has been one courageous and powerful ride.
Yeah. I want to thank you, Bernadette, for being with us, sharing, taking us through the journey. Obviously, much work still to be done. Got to bring you back, and you'll continue to share with us how things are progressing as this year goes on.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you. All righty. Listen, we are taking a quick break. We'll come back with more on the social justice forums. Another guest right after this.